So I'm so bloody angry. I can't hide it tonight. I can't even try and put a positive spin on it. I'm sorry, even though I predicted this exact scenario, I find it impossible to comprehend how we've ended up here. Surely, at some point, common sense and personal responsibility must prevail in a free and democratic society over draconian and authoritarian government controls dictating the way we live our lives and run our businesses. 20 months into this pandemic, with over 90% of the adult population estimated to have COVID antibodies, including 80% double jabbed and 25% triple jabbed, the march from the mainstream broadcast media and politicians to lock down the country again is well and truly on. Of course, it's as a result of the Omicron scariant, without any firm evidence that this new strain will definitely evade or even weaken our vaccines. Boris Johnson went into full-on panic mode. A Saturday night emergency press conference unleashed mask mandates, punishable with hundreds of pounds in fines, 10 days self-isolation for perfectly healthy folk, and new day 2 PCR testing and isolation requirements for anyone re-entering the country that sound the death knell for the tourism industry. But even then, it wasn't enough for our COVID-obsessed, lockdown fanatical broadcast media. Just listen to the questions asked of Boris and that doomsday duo, Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance, by the BBC, Sky News and ITV.
At a previous press conference that you have to go hard and you have to go early. Arguably, you're going early, but not hard. This is falling short of full Plan B with advice to work from home, vaccine passports and so on. Have people amongst your sage advisors been pushing for full Plan B now? And if not, why not?
Have you modelled the potential spread of this new variant over the next few weeks and months? What picture does that show? And can we really rule out lockdowns as a result of what you know about this variant?
Well, so there'll be people watching this wondering why you're not going further into Plan B and ordering people to work from home, if that might help us actually have something towards a normal Christmas and reduce the spread. Also things like having vaccine passports and using the check-in apps once again. So why aren't you doing that at this point?
And then, immediately following the awful announcement, who did the BBC drag out to comment? The lockdown-obsessed Professor Susan Mickey, who sits on the government's SAGE committee as a health psychologist and is a self-declared Communist Party member. Honest, I'm not making that up. She said she was talking in a personal capacity and, of course, wanted an immediate set of new control measures enforced on us all, just like she's wanted every single moment since March 2020.
I welcome all the measures that have been suggested, but I'm very surprised that he hasn't gone further, especially in the light of the WHO, the World Health Organization, and Patrick Vallance, our chief scientific advisor, saying that you must go early and go hard in these situations. You go quickly. You don't wait until you know everything. Dr. Ryan from the WHO says you always must be ahead of the curve, ahead of the wave in any pandemic. We must learn the lessons from the mistakes we've made in the past. And I have to say that this is Plan B light. What we should have had is Plan B plus.
The broadcast media in this country is broken. Today, GBNews launched our first national advertising campaign where we promise to ask the questions the BBC won't. So here goes. Here's what I would have asked. Is there any evidence the Omicron variant evades existing vaccines or increases hospitalisations or deaths? If you are unsure regarding the efficacy of vaccines on Omicron, then why is your solution to open up the vaccine booster programme to all ages? Given Omicron is already in the country, how on earth does shutting the borders and imposing costly PCR tests and self-isolation on travelling Brits help? Why have you punished South Africa by introducing yet another harmful travel ban, given it's used its advanced science to identify this variant and give the world a head start? Where is the evidence masks work? Why are school kids having to wear masks in communal spaces when the Education Secretary was able to party maskless with teachers at an awards bash last night. Have a look. This was Nadeem Zahawi in a packed, non-ventilated room, enjoying the Pearson National Teaching Awards held at the Brewery in London. Of course, the delightful usual be kind trolls and the left-wing media are determined to take away personal choice on whether we live our lives muzzled, like LBC's resident hate preacher James O'Brien, who equated those who question the logic of wearing masks to the Ku Klux Klan. He tweeted, "Weird how many racists hate wearing masks. They used to love hoods." Or the hate-filled comedian Jenny Eclair, who said in a now-deleted tweet, "I'm on an intercity train on Monday. If people who aren't exempt aren't wearing a mask, am I allowed to punch them in the face?" Of course, it was only last year that the so-called experts were trying to assure us all that the use of face coverings was completely futile.
There's no evidence that general wearing of face masks by the public who are well affects the spread of the disease in our society. But in terms of the hard evidence and what the UK government recommends, we do not recommend face masks for general wearing by the public.
The evidence on face masks has always been quite variable, quite weak.
The evidence is weak and the effect is small.
Wearing a mask if you don't have an infection really reduces the risk almost not at all. So we do not advise that.
They said it, so don't make us look crazy for saying the same thing now. So much more madness is making me fume tonight. There's the World Health Organization deciding not to call the new variant Z to protect the blushes of the Chinese Communist leader Xi Jinping, whose regime unleashed this entire COVID catastrophe on the world. There's the fact usual democratic processes are being railroaded with these measures coming into force at 4 a.m. tomorrow without any sort of debate or vote in Parliament. That's Chinese-style democracy for you folks, right here in the UK. And there's the government and its scientists telling us an extension of the COVID vaccine booster programme is the answer to the Omicron programme, even though all the hysteria is over the fact this scarian might evade the vaccine. Go figure. As I concluded in a new column for the Mail Online tonight, if we cannot open the country and restore all our civil liberties 20 months into this pandemic, then I fear we never will. If we keep compliantly allowing our freedoms to be stripped on the whim of a poll-driven government, then don't be surprised if they never fully return. A dystopian nightmare looms, and it's time to speak up and stand up.